So back in 1994, 6 totally unknown actors signed a television contract.
Yeah.
And that piece of paper didn't just create a popular show, it actually changed the entire entertainment business. And eventually, it made those 6 people over $1 billion.
$1 billion. It's just wild.
Right. We are definitely going to get into all that money. But to really understand why people still care today, you kind of have to forget the fame and the fortune for a minute.
Yeah, you have to strip all of that away.
Exactly. You just look at the basic idea of the show. And it all starts with a very relatable, everyday question. Out of those 6 famous friends, who would you actually want to live with?
This is a big question.
It is. So welcome to Entertainment Docket. If you love talking about the stories behind the screens, make sure to hit subscribe and join the jury. Because today, we are putting television's most famous roommates on trial.
I love this. It's the ultimate test for anyone who has ever signed a lease. We're looking at the true stories, the crazy money, the contracts, and the daily reality of sharing a tiny New York apartment with these people.
It's a lot to handle.
It really is. And just to be clear for the jury, this session is just for fun. We aren't giving you legal advice, medical advice, or telling you how to manage your bank account. We are just judging people who don't actually exist.
Right, because we really need a reality check on this. I mean, we all loved watching them make terrible decisions for 10 straight years.
Oh, absolutely.
But we laugh when things go wrong because we are sitting on our comfortable couches. Imagine actually sharing a wall with them.
Or a bathroom.
Exactly. Sharing a bathroom. The stuff that makes someone hilarious on your television screen is usually the exact same stuff that makes them a complete nightmare to live with.
Think about the basic things you want in a roommate.
Right.
You want them to pay rent on time.
Mm-hmm.
You want them to leave your groceries alone. You want a little peace and quiet. And when you apply those basic rules, the people you think are your absolute favorites, they kind of drop to the very bottom of the list.
Let's start with Joey and see how he holds up. Because everyone loves Joey. He is like the ultimate fun friend.
He really is.
He's loyal, he doesn't judge you, and if you have a terrible day at work, he's going to be the first person to try and cheer you up with a joke.
I mean, that sounds great until the first of the month rolls around.
Right. The rent.
Yeah, the rent. If you look at the facts of how he actually lives, a huge problem pops up immediately. Joey did not pay his own bills for years.
Wow.
Yeah, Chandler covered almost everything. Think about the daily cost of that. Chandler paid Joey's half of the rent. He paid for his acting classes.
Oh, man.
He paid for his professional photos. He even paid for his daily sandwiches and his coffee.
I would lose my mind. Like, in real life, you wouldn't be Joey's best friend. You'd just be his accountant.
Basically.
Sure, he brings a lot of fun to the apartment, but fans are always pointing out that he'd eat every single thing in your fridge and then turn right around and ask to borrow $20 for a pizza.
It's like you're paying a cover charge just to hang out in your own kitchen.
Exactly. Living with someone who treats your wallet like a community fund, it just creates so much stress.
Yeah, you are literally paying for him to exist.
Mm.
And, I mean, it works on the show because Chandler somehow always had extra money.
Mm-hmm.
But in the real world,
Mm.
you would start hating that person so fast.
Right.
You just can't pay the electric bill with a nice smile and a hug.
No, you really can't. After about 3 months of unpaid rent, you wouldn't be sharing a pizza on the couch. You'd be calling a lawyer to draft an eviction notice.
Definitely.
You just can't survive with a roommate who does not respect your money. So, if we want to avoid being broke, we should probably move in with someone who has everything together.
Right, someone like Monica.
Someone exactly like Monica.
On paper, Monica looks like the best option you could ever ask for. I mean, her apartment is spotless.
Spotless.
She always has dinner ready. She loves hosting Thanksgiving for everyone. She remembers every single birthday. And she will drop absolutely everything to bring you soup when you have a cold.
See, that sounds amazing. But the catch is how she keeps that apartment spotless. Her cleaning isn't just a fun weekend hobby.
No, it's not.
It is a strict system that you are forced to live by. There are rules for every single thing you do. You can't leave your shoes out. You can't move the furniture.
Right.
She literally has 11 different categories for bath towels alone.
11. And the scary part is that Monica's habits were actually inspired by real people the creators had lived with.
Oh, wow.
People actually act like this.
Yeah.
Imagine the anxiety of coming home from a really long, hard day at work. You just want to drop your keys and relax.
Yeah.
But instead, you find all your personal stuff boxed up and thrown away because you decided it just didn't look neat enough.
You would never feel relaxed in your own house. You'd constantly be walking on eggshells.
Totally.
Honestly, her floors are probably polished so hard every single morning that you'd slip in your socks, fall on your back, and need to hire an injury lawyer just from trying to get a glass of water.
That sounds exhausting.
It sounds so exhausting. You are making a huge trade here.
Yeah, you get a roommate who cooks for you and keeps the bathroom perfectly clean, but you give up the ability to just be lazy in your own living room. You really have to ask yourself what matters more to you.
I want the jury to think about that right now. Like, would you trade being comfortable in your sweatpants just to have a roommate who remembers your birthday and scrubs the baseboards?
It's a tough call.
I don't think I could do it. Monica is physically exhausting to be around, but maybe someone who is emotionally exhausting is worse. Let's bring Chandler to the stand.
Okay, so Chandler seems like the safest choice if you want zero landlord drama.
Right.
He is fairly clean, he's funny, and most importantly, he has a very steady office job in data processing. I mean, his friends never seem to know what he actually did for a living.
They called him a transponster, right?
Yeah, a transponster. But he went to an office every single day.
Hey, data processing pays the rent. He had a reliable paycheck. He had a savings account. He even had this giant wedding fund saved up years before he ever thought about getting married.
Yeah, from a pure paperwork standpoint, he's a dream roommate.
Mm-hmm.
The checks never bounce.
But there's a hidden cost.
There is. The hidden cost of living with Chandler is entirely in your head, because he uses sarcasm nonstop.
Nonstop.
Matthew Perry, the actor who played him, actually talked about how the characters specifically used jokes to keep people away. If things got too real or too serious, he would just make a joke to put a wall up between him and everyone else.
So put yourself in that apartment. You wake up early. You are incredibly tired. You stub your toe on the coffee table, and you are in actual pain.
Ouch.
And before you can even grab your coffee, your roommate hits you with a sarcastic joke about how clumsy you are.
That would be so annoying.
Or you bring a date home, you want to make a good impression, and your roommate just sits there making things awkward with joke after joke.
You would always feel a little bit distant from him. Like, you get to live in a nice place without worrying about eviction, but you are sharing your home with someone who can't just have a normal, sincere conversation.
Yeah.
So is having a stable lease really worth being the butt of the joke every single morning?
I don't know if I could handle the constant mocking before breakfast.
Neither.
Chandler offers financial peace, but endless sarcasm. So that brings us to another roommate who offers financial peace, but brings a massive, terrifying tornado of drama. Enter Ross.
Oh, Ross. He divides people more than anyone else on this list.
Oh, definitely.
Let's start with the good things. He is highly educated. He's a college professor with a PhD. He earns a great salary. He owns his own furniture, so you don't even have to buy a couch.
That's a huge plus.
It is. He has health insurance, and you know for a fact he has the best renter's insurance money can buy.
I mean, he sounds like the only actual adult in the room.
You'd think so, right? But public opinion polls constantly rank him as the worst friend of the entire group.
The worst friend.
Yeah. When you look at how he treats the people around him, there are some huge warning signs. The biggest one is that he simply cannot admit when he makes a mistake.
His stubbornness is unbelievable.
It really is.
Remember when he taught an entire class on tenant rights? He read up on property laws just so he could win a petty argument with Rachel.
Oh my gosh, yes.
That is a level of spite that would make living with him terrifying. You could never just agree to disagree.
Exactly. And that need to be right ties into his crazy emotional outbursts. He is by far the most dramatic person in the group.
So dramatic.
The creators actually wrote him that way because David Schwimmer was so good at physical comedy and looking panicked. But if you put that guy in a real apartment, it's pure chaos.
Imagine trying to read a book on a Sunday afternoon and your roommate comes home and starts enthusiastically blowing into a set of bagpipes.
I would move out.
Or you were trying to sleep before a big presentation and you just hear him screaming, "We were on a break," right through the drywall.
I call this paying emotional rent.
Emotional rent. I like that.
Yeah, you never have to worry about the actual rent check clearing the bank. But dealing with his dramatic meltdowns, his yelling, and his constant need to prove you wrong, it just takes a massive toll on your energy.
So are you willing to pay that emotional rent just to have a roommate with a steady job? I really don't think I am.
Same.
So Ross had his career figured out from day one. But what about the roommate who started with absolutely nothing? Let's look at Rachel.
This is a fun one. Because if you judge Rachel based on her first few months in the city, she is hands down the worst choice.
Oh,
He
totally.
shows up uninvited in a literal wedding dress. She has never worked a day in her life. She doesn't know how to make coffee.
She leaves a mess everywhere.
Everywhere. And she constantly borrows Monica's clothes and shoes without even asking.
She sounds like a total nightmare. And this is a big, but she completely changes. She goes from having her father pay for everything to working in a coffee shop to
Man,
eventually becoming a highly successful executive in the fashion industry.
it's a huge shift. If you move in with the older, wiser Rachel, you get a completely different person. Her journey really reflects the 90s young professional.
Yeah, it does.
She actually earns the most money out of all the friends by the end. She goes to an office, she confidently pays her half of the bills, and she actually knows how the world works.
It is so funny to look back on this now. When people watched this years ago as teenagers, they judged her so harshly for being spoiled.
They really did.
But now, those same fans are adults who have to pay mortgages and buy groceries.
Yeah.
And they look at older Rachel and realize she is actually a fantastic roommate. She is clean, she is always busy at work, and she has money.
Yeah, she grew up. But there is one tiny little character flaw that people always bring up when they talk about Rachel.
Oh boy, what's that?
Imagine you get a text from your roommate asking how to boil water.
Oh man, that is rough. Like, really rough.
Right. I mean, have you ever been stuck living with someone who simply refuses to do the boring parts of being an adult?
You expect a shared space to be a team effort, like you both take out the trash or, pay the bills, but some people just completely miss that entirely.
Yeah, which is so funny because early on, she just had zero basic survival skills. I mean, no cooking experience, no idea how to clean, and she definitely did not understand money.
Mostly because she was so used to other people taking care of her, right?
Exactly. But hold on, isn't it pretty normal for people in their 20s to be a bit messy when they first move out? I mean, why are we judging her so harshly compared to anyone else adjusting to adulthood?
Well, that is a fair point, but it is a little different here. It is a real blind spot for her. Because she was raised with people doing everything for her, she literally does not see the work that goes into running a home.
Oh, totally. To her, a clean kitchen just happens magically.
Yeah, and that results in her being incredibly messy, which gets highly frustrating for anyone sharing the space.
She treats the apartment like a hotel lobby. I mean, she loves her own room like it is her private hotel suite, and she keeps her own clothes and personal space perfect.
Right, but she assumes the common areas are managed by some invisible staff.
Yes, she is like a friendly tornado leaving a trail of chaos everywhere else.
And that hotel mindset totally spills over into her financial choices, too.
Oh, the spending.
Right, she spends cash on impulse instead of, actually helping out with real household costs.
So think about what you would do in that situation. I mean, would you have the patience to live with someone who ignores the electric bill to buy a new outfit?
Mm-hmm.
Let us know what you would have done.
I would lose my mind, honestly. And it gets even worse when her chaos takes over your personal life.
Oh gosh, the dating life.
Yes. Imagine trying to relax on the couch and suddenly her third date of the week is sitting right next to you. Her busy dating life creates deeply awkward situations for whoever is living with her.
The painful morning kitchen run-ins with total strangers are just the worst. And then there is her reaction to conflict.
Oh boy, the drama.
Yeah, she turns tiny, simple household disagreements into massive emotional drama. Just arguing with her over whose turn it is to buy paper towels would get so intense, you might feel like you need to hire a lawyer to mediate the lease.
Or maybe even an injury lawyer to help you recover from the emotional exhaustion.
Seriously, it really is exhausting. You need someone who can help steer the car, not just sit back and enjoy the ride.
Which brings us to the exact opposite type of person. Our final option is the wild card, Phoebe.
Phoebe is loved by almost everyone. She is deeply kind. She is creative. She is incredibly loyal.
Oh, she's the best.
She is the type of friend who will gladly drive to the airport at 3 in the morning to pick you up. And she will always tell you the truth, even when it is super awkward.
But living with her is a wild adventure that you might not be ready for. Financially, though, there is a massive hidden bonus here.
Oh yeah, the apartment.
Yeah, Phoebe lives in her grandmother's rent-controlled apartment. That means her rent is locked in at a super low price. In a city like New York, that is like winning the lottery. Your housing costs would be almost nothing.
You save a ton of money, but you trade all your peace and quiet for her eccentric lifestyle.
And it is very eccentric.
I mean, this is someone who genuinely believed a random stray cat she found was her dead mother.
Oh my goodness, yes.
She thought she could sense the feelings of old Christmas trees.
You would never know what to expect. You might walk into the kitchen for breakfast and find her playing the guitar, singing loudly about something completely inappropriate.
Or you might walk into the living room and find a strange person lying on a table because she is running her massage business out of your shared space.
A fan comment recently summed this up perfectly. They said, "I love Phoebe, but I don't want a roommate who might curse my furniture."
That is so accurate. You can love someone's free spirit, but that doesn't mean you want to share a bathroom with them.
Exactly. So I have to ask you, the listener, does a little daily chaos make life fun, or does it just ruin your day? We have laid out all 6 options, and before we get into the massive business reason why people are still talking about these roommates today, drop a comment below. Who are you leaning toward right now? Let us know.
It's a tough choice. But the reason we so care about these specific quirks and flaws isn't just because they were funny.
No, it's not.
It is because of a brilliant billion-dollar business move that happened behind the cameras.
This is my favorite part of the whole story.
It's so good.
So, in 1996, the show was a massive hit. They had only been on TV for 2 years at this point. But the cast was not making the same amount of money. David Schwimmer, who played Ross, was making more than everyone else.
Right.
The network thought he was the main star of the show.
And usually that is how the story ends in Hollywood. The breakout star gets rich, and the rest of the cast gets jealous and angry, and it all falls apart.
Right.
But Schwimmer did something nobody expected. He went to the other 5 actors and told them they needed to stick together. He told them to refuse to negotiate alone.
That's huge.
They walked into the boss's office as a single group and demanded that all 6 of them get paid the exact same amount.
That is a crazy risk. If the network said no, they could have all been fired and replaced. I mean, they were only 2 years in.
Exactly.
But they didn't back down. That single choice completely changed television history. By the time they filmed the final season, they were each making $1 million for every single episode they shot.
$1 million an episode. And since they filmed 24 episodes a year, that means they were making $24 million a year, each.
Insane.
But the $1 million an episode wasn't even the smartest part of the deal.
Not even close. The real genius was asking for royalties.
Yes. The cast demanded a small percentage of the show's syndication money.
Right, and syndication simply means selling the rights to play old reruns. Right.
Exactly. Every time a different channel or a streaming service wants to play an old episode, they have to pay for it.
And because everyone loves the show, and because people are still arguing over whether Joey or Chandler is the better roommate, those reruns never stop playing.
They really don't.
Since the actors own a piece of that action, they still get paid today. It is estimated that each of those 6 actors makes $20 million every single year.
Every single year. They don't have to act. They don't have to do interviews. They just wake up and the checks arrive in the mail.
That is the dream.
They turned a few years of acting into a permanent river of money.
It is just amazing to think about. We just spent all this time judging how these characters would pay their electric bills and buy groceries.
Yeah.
But in real life, the actors pulled off the greatest roommate win of all time. They figured out how to get paid $20 million a year to never have to work again.
It is completely brilliant, and it is why the show will never disappear. As long as the reruns keep playing, new people will keep discovering them, and the debate will keep going.
Oh.
Let's bring it back to our jury for the final decision.
Yeah, let's do a fast recap. If you pick Joey, you get a ton of laughs, but you have to pay all his bills.
Right.
If you pick Monica, you get a perfectly clean house, but you lose your ability to relax. Chandler gives you jokes and paid bills, but keeps you at an emotional distance.
And then there's Ross.
Yeah, Ross gives you stability, but drains your energy with constant drama. Rachel offers a clean, busy roommate. She might be a lot of fun, but her complete avoidance of adult duties, her messy habits, her impulsive spending, and just the heavy drama make her a terrible roommate. And Phoebe brings pure joy, but total wild unpredictability.
Your final choice says a lot about what you actually value in your own life.
It really does.
Some people will gladly live in a messy house if it means having a loyal friend around. Other people will gladly pay more rent just to avoid drama and keep everything quiet.
But if you really look at it, the scariest question isn't which of them you would want to live with. It's which one of them are you?
Oh, that's a good question.
We all like to think we're the easygoing roommate who does everything right. But someone out there from your past probably thinks you're the Monica or the Joey, or the Ross.
Probably.
We all have a little bit of these flaws hiding in our own closets. Think about that the next time you leave your shoes in the hallway. Thank you for spending your time with Entertainment Docket today. If you enjoyed this conversation, please subscribe, like, comment, and share this with your current or former roommates. And if you want to wear your verdict, be sure to check out the merchandise store with the link in the description. Until next time, court is adjourned.